Okay folks, MBS, I'm going to be doing the Pitman arm now. This little sucker hanging off the steering box. Not my favourite job, I tell you. These can be stuck on like shit to a blanket. The reason they're so tight is because that spline in there is on a taper. If you measured the one side to the other side, you'll find there's could be about 20-30 thou difference in dimensions. So it's a taper fit and they can be so tight. I remember the coaster one took 60-ton press to get the Pitman arm off. I'm hoping this one's not like this, because all we've got is this little tool to put up in here. I got that from Online Auto Parts, as well as the Pitman arm. And let's hope this doesn't snap. If this snaps, we ain't doing the job. We'll be taking the steering box out next to do the seals, and we'll have to find someone with a press to press it off. Hopefully we'll get it. All right, 32mm socket required to get this nut off. Okay, so we're going to see if we can crack this first before I break the tie rod end part of it. There's no point doing that first and then finding I can't get the Pitman arm off. I'm going to use a rattle gun 32mm socket, but these generally aren't so tight that you can't get them, so it should come off fairly easy. Well, with a rattle gun it will anyway. And there we go, easy as. Now this little tool here, it has to be jammed up in there, and we'll have to give that a bit of a tap. Hopefully it'll go on and this bolt will meet the center of the sector shaft, otherwise we won't be able to use it. Well, unfortunately, it would have been good if I could have got a ring spanner onto that, because an open ender isn't doing it up very tight. So at the end of the day, we can't screw this up. I might have to grind this and get rid of that bit on the end so I can actually get a socket onto that. Now guys, word of warning, when you're slogging away here, you got to remember that you're trying to push the sector shaft up, but the only thing saving us here is that this tool is stopping it actually moving, because you could actually break the top of your steering box when you're hitting this with a hammer if there was nothing in between here to stop the shaft from coming out upwards. So we're not going to get this, guys, not a chance. I might modify the tool and come back to it. Alright, so we'll take it off and modify it. Well, now that I've actually got it dropped, I'm just going to put the nut back on and just lightly do it back up so I can get the drag link ball joint end off, and then we'll replace it, eh? Okay, we'll get this split pin out. There we go. Alright, that was a bit more than a love tap, wasn't it? So now we can go ahead and take our Pitman arm off. Now, the thing we have to watch for is this is it's not master splined in here, so you can actually put this in any position you like, but there are marks on here, and there should be marks on the shaft somewhere to line this back up. So when we get this nut off, we'll have a look and see what position it's in. Now it's absolutely critical that you put the Pitman arm back on in exactly the right spline. Ah yes, okay. I'll take a picture of this for you guys so you can actually see it. So we should be able to get that off now. Clean the shaft up a little bit. All we need to do now, put the new one on, line it up with the slot. That's one tooth out. What you're viewing now is me having multiple goes at trying to get this spline to line up with those marks on the Pitman arm and the sector shaft. It just wasn't happening, so we'll just have to accept where I've finally put it. Yeah, it's either half a tooth that way or half a tooth that way, okay? So if it doesn't quite line up, guys, pick the spline where it's the least off. You know what I'm saying there? If it's more off to the left or more off to the right, the offset, choose the one that's got the least offset. And I'll probably need the tool to get that off, eh? Just double check the alignment. Oh look, that is very, very, yeah. Now that it's pulled up, I reckon that's not quite. I reckon still half a tooth. All right. And just have to put it back onto the joint, onto the drag link. And we can get you back up in there. Bit of a slog to straighten her up. Don't hit the thread with the hammer. You'll regret it. Do it up lightly. And the rest I will do with the spanner and line up the split pin hole. Righto, there's the split pin hole. I'm wondering if I could just go one more turn on that nut to get it tighter. Yes, I can. And put some grease in it, and that job is done. Just a little insert here for you, just to give you a little bit more information on this Pitman arm. I'll throw a photo up now of the actual marks of this new Pitman arm that was fitted, and by the looks of it, I think it's half a tooth out. But you can actually check that, if it's correct or not. All you have to do is put the steering wheel in a straight ahead position. If your car was steering straight before you did the Pitman arm, it should be straight after you fit the Pitman arm. So put your steering wheel in a straight ahead position, get underneath the vehicle and look straight down the chassis line, the Pitman arm. See if it's pointing straight down the back, not off a little bit to the left or to the right, but straight down the chassis line. All right, that's where it should be, in the straight ahead line. So let's say it was one tooth out. Okay, we physically got it one tooth out. That would put us 7.5 degrees out from the straight line position down the chassis rail. And here's a diagram of 7.5 degrees. All right, so if I say I reckon it's half a tooth out, it'll be half of that. You would still pick that up by looking down the chassis rail. You'd see your Pitman arm not pointing straight down the line. Okay, it'll be just off. Well, then you know, if it's not straight, that there's something wrong. You could have got it a tooth out. Yeah. Now, when I checked this using that method, the Pitman arm was pointing straight down the line, and the idler arm should be too. All right, they were both pointing straight down the chassis rail, parallel with it. It is correct. So my assumption is, logically thinking, that the stamping on that new Pitman arm is slightly wrong. All right, so you could totally disregard that mark if you wanted to, and just make sure that your Pitman arm is pointing straight down the line of the chassis when you fit it. Easy as, yeah? So if you're one tooth out, you'll see it. 7.5 degrees is easy to spot. So that's another way you could fit the Pitman arm if you wanted to, without just totally ignore those marks on there. All right, but the important thing is that your steering wheel needs to be straight for that to work. All right, so it's just another method that you can use to double check your alignment, make sure that you fitted it correctly. Well guys, wasn't that fun? As you saw, as soon as I modified this tool and got rid of that stupid bowl, because the open end spanner was just crap. You can't get these tight enough. I actually thought I stripped the thread in this tool when I was using the rattle gun, but my son said, no, it's coming. So yeah, I'm quite amazed that actually came off. All right, well I'm happy that we got that Pitman arm off. So hopefully I will have to take it off again later to do the seals in the steering box. Oh well, hopefully it'll come off easier next time, eh? Alright guys, catch you in the next video.